Hi Vandana, how are you? Okay, good. Vandana, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the August 1st episode of LAJA TV. Today, we have a very special guest with us. But before we go to the guest, let me talk about something that has been really interesting and inspiring that's been happening around the world now. But before that, let me talk to you about LAJA. LAJA, for those of you who do not know, is a forum that gives women a non-judgmental space to be themselves. We are a forum for women, giving them an opportunity to learn from others, to teach others, to be inspired by others, and to inspire others as they themselves grow. That is what we at LAJA do. We have chapters in Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, and now in Chandigarh. And we conduct workshops, we have coffee meets, we have interactive sessions, we have LAJA TV like this one, where we have a guest who will talk to us about a certain aspect of life, something that deals with our daily existence, something that will help us become better people. So that for you is LAJA. So now let me talk about what's happening around the world. Olympics 2021 is currently on, and it has been such an amazing thing, and it's one of the topmost things in everybody's minds these days. And what is more amazing about the Olympics is that women world over are making us so proud, especially for us Indians. Our women have been really working hard and getting us medals after medals. They have been qualifying round after round, and I think that is something that we should all be grateful for, we should all be happy about, and we should all be applauding. One of the topmost things that happened this last week was Mirabai Chanu, who made us proud by winning the silver for India in the 49 kg weightlifting category. And what's amazing is Mirabai comes from a household where she's had to work really hard, and despite all the challenges that were thrown at her way, she has triumphed. I think that is what we should be celebrating, that spirit of not wanting to give up, not willing to give up, and working really hard to achieve your dream. That grit and determination, and that is the kind of mindset that we need to be talking for, not just the players at the Olympics ground now, but for every one of us out there. There are so many women who have made us proud. And I think the final tally at the end of the Olympics will show us just how well women across the world have been doing. The Olympics, like any other coveted competition, is an opportunity for men and women, but I think more so for women, to show the world what we are truly made up of. So wishing all our women athletes the very best always. Moving on, let's come to the theme for today. Spirituality is often confused with religion and faith in God. But is it truly that? If spirituality is about God, then what is mindfulness? Is it about being aware, being sure, or being in connect with oneself? What truly is spirituality? We at LAJA wanted to explore spirituality and mindfulness. So the month of August is dedicated to that very topic. We wanted to start off the discussion with somebody who's known in the field, somebody who understands what it means. And so to help us understand this a little bit more is Deepak Varma. He is the creator of the accredited diploma Speakology trademark program. He's an Ikigai coach, and Deepak is a renowned keynote speaker and also a healer who has developed the healing technique Healify, which taps into the subconscious of the individual to holistically heal his clients. He's the author of the 2019 Amazon bestseller, The Joyful Quotient, and we are lucky to have him here with us. Welcome, Deepak. Welcome to LAJA TV.
Hi, Vandana. Great to be here with you and all the participants.
Yes, we have so much to learn from you, so much to understand from you. So let us jump right into the question. What is spirituality and how important is mindfulness in spirituality?
So both of them are quite linked, Vandana, as I see it. And what is spirituality is, of course, the study of the spirit or the study of the self, the capital S, as we call it. And mindfulness techniques are techniques which can help us become more aware of the self. So one is a practice, and one is the actual outcome of the particular practice. So that's a very simple definition because I like simplicity rather than giving complex definitions. And this is a way to look at it.
Okay, so they are tied together and yet they are different from each other.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so can one be spiritual without being religious and vice versa?
Of course. So where religion ends, spirituality begins. And while religion is more from the masses perspective and it's related to a lot of customs and traditions, spirituality goes a step ahead and it pertains to real awareness of the self. So it's like a stepped ladder. And
Okay.
as we know it, religion ends, spirituality begins. And where spirituality ends, we have the beginning of reality. And where reality ends, we have bliss coming in. So this is the sequence in which a person needs to go and practice as we go ahead.
Okay. One reason why we wanted to talk about this topic is the past year and a half, the pandemic has really tried us. We have all reached our wits end, and I think as far as patience goes, we have all almost lost it. We are bursting out at small things. We are very, it's very easy to get irritated. It's very easy to lose our cool, and I think a lot of people have now slowly started to get into that, get into meditation, get into a holistic kind of living. And I have seen a lot of people also get drawn to spirituality. But again, the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because, again, when people are talking about spirituality, they're talking about God. So people are following one certain religious text. They are having in-depth discussions about that religious text. But in all of that, are we really getting the peace that we're looking for without having the mindfulness?
So let's good question. So let's begin with the definition and try to understand what is mindfulness all about.
Yes.
And again, I like to keep it very simple so anybody can understand. So if you have a pen, and then you have the cap of the pen. So if we consider this as the body and this as the mind, the mind should be fixed on the body. Okay, that's as we know it. And it's very easy to show it in a pen example. It's very easy to talk about in theory. But in reality, the mind starts taking a spin. It takes a spin, and then we remember, and then we bring it back. And then again, it takes a spin, irritations, as you mentioned, pandemic, anxieties, worries, and then again, we bring it back into the current moment. All the practices of mindfulness is to get the mind and body into that single point, which is here and now. Here is the current location we are in, and now is the current moment, not somewhere else and not some other moment. So either we are always in the future or in the past, which is some other moment, or we are mentally somewhere else. So the mind and body are always disaligned. So you'll see a lot of practices, within mindfulness and various other practices, which focus on breath, body, various other things. But the end outcome, which is why it's simple to understand. The end outcome is to bring it all together, integrated into one place, which is also called as presence. Presence. You bring a presence of yourself, with the capital P, onto one particular location. And that, in fact, while it's easy, it's a one-line thing, easy to talk about. But doing it practically, there's a lot of churning that needs to happen within ourselves to ensure that this presence is really, put into the right place. If you read Dalai Lama, he's written about something called as Atlas of Emotions, in which he has multiple emotions which he's analyzed. There's a website, free website, which all of you can see, atlasofemotions.org.
Okay.
And there he talks about these particular emotions that a person goes through. And then, but he goes a step back. Why does one go through the emotions, the reaction or the trigger that causes these particular reactions, and then goes a step back. What causes the trigger? And that comes to some past tendencies. And then he goes a step back. What causes those past tendencies? So it's a sequential, going deeper and deeper. And in a sense, it's going deeper into ourselves. And then we understand what are those tendencies within us which cause these particular reactions of anxiety, worry, anger, various emotions that we see around us, which is enhanced in the last 1 year thanks to the pandemic.
Yes.
And if you try to root out the root cause, then it has a ripple effect and it starts to root out everything in front of you. So, these are the few sequential steps which a person can kind of follow in order to get to the right path, right goal. And if you notice here, there is no, I've not mentioned God, I've not mentioned any particular religion around here. So it's all a delving within our own self with a capital S. So we're trying to go within and try to dig out and unravel the mystery within us.
Yes, but like you said, easier said than done. How does one come, because from personal experience, I'll tell you, if I sit to pray, maybe I can get my first verse of my prayer said, if I'm saying it out loud. But if I'm going to be saying it in my mind, then in a split second, my mind will deviate. Have I switched off the gas? Oh, these children are making so much noise. The same goes for meditation or yoga when you say, if you sit down to do those deep breathing exercise, maybe the first 3 breaths I will be able to take and, put it out. After the 3rd breath, I'm wondering, are my children studying? What is that now sound outside? So like I said, easier said than done. How do we get ourselves in that here and now that you're talking about?
There are 3 aspects. If you look at any form of yoga, pranayama, tai chi, any mindfulness practice, you can name it. There are 3 aspects which in different words, it will come to the same point. The first one is, as you mentioned, the first one is breathing, breath. The second one is body. Okay. And the third is intention. Okay, breath, body, intention. Let's try to understand why are these 3, and they come in different names, So there's one terminology which says REM, which is the respiratory mechanism. So you can put various ways to it, but ultimately it is breathing, body, intention. So what is breathing? Breathing actually is a prana. So the energy, the life force, which is why we have pranayama, the energy or the life force. So pranayama, if you see the etymology, prana is energy and yama is to control. So the way you can control the energy flow within your body, and there are 5 different pranas, within us, which we can keep controlling as we come out of it. And then we have, and the most important is intention. And the intention is the attitude. And the attitude is something that can be a driving force for the body and the breath. So while, as you rightly said, you sit in a place, or a lot of us sit in a place and we try to breathe in, etc. But distractions, children around us, or worries, these kind of seem to plague us into a mode of complete distraction. And it's very difficult. I totally agree. It's not easy unless we have a sustained practice, which can enable us to keep being able to dive within the ocean, within our own ocean, in such a manner that we can keep going deeper and deeper within ourselves. And somewhere in the middle of the session, I'll give a 4 or 5 minute demo on a particular technique called as a heartfulness relaxation. Just 4 or 5 minutes, which is why I love it. So I'll do this demo, in the next few minutes when everybody is ready and grounded in.
Yes, perfect. Now let's talk about what you do. So you are am I saying it right? Ikigai Coach?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And while most of us have read the book, I've also read the book, how would you simplify the definition? Because right now that term itself sounds like, anybody who wants to, talk about being in the here and now, like we discussed, has that book, and, they show us the book and say, oh, I've read it and I understand it and all of that. But what is the true meaning of Ikigai?
Ikigai stands for 2 words in the Japanese language. The first is Ikiru and the second is Gai. Ikiru means life. Gai means shell of beauty or something of value. And hence, Ikiru Gai or Ikigai stands for the value of living. And this word Gai is pretty common in the Japanese language. You have various words like Hatara Gai, and Asobigai, which has value of doing, value of working, etc. So Ikigai comes in that particular root. They concatenate words, and Ikirugai, which is life, and preciousness or the value of life. So the value of living is something which is called as Ikigai. Now, it's a very fancy word, and a lot of people love to hear it.
Yes.
But not everybody wants to understand what exactly. So why it became famous is because this particular island in Okinawa in Japan had a lot of centenarians, people who live long, healthy, and happy lives.
Yes.
So Ikigai is also closely connected with the longevity, happiness, and health. And so it becomes very interesting to the whole world that what are they doing different? And that's when this term came around. But if you see it, the value of living or the reason for being or the reason to jump out of bed every morning is something which is very common across the world. So it's not really specific to any culture or any country. And each of us needs to, in a sense, get an Ikigai Kan. Let's understand what is Ikigai Kan. Ikigai is the word, and you add a word Kan. It means a state of being in Ikigai. It's like mindfulness, heartfulness, calmness. So you have Ikigai Kan. And that's the key. Ikigai Kan actually is the key, which a lot of people may not get, but they keep looking at, okay, Ikigai. But you have to actually get the state of being where you're always in that mode as it is. I normally put it this way. It's not put in the particular book you're referring to, but there's a numerator and there's a denominator. Okay. So the numerator is what people run after, which is the passion, the love. Because Ikigai focuses on, hey, do things that you love to do. What's your passion?
Yes.
What's your love? And then you connect it to the world, and then you start getting rewarded for it. The 4 circles, and you start getting into things that you love to do. Come on, let's do it. That's the numerator.
Yeah.
What we don't realize is there's a denominator to it, and the denominator can be very ruthless because anything divided by the numerator can decimate the whole thing. And the denominator is something which pertains to our own inner atlas of emotions, our inner structure, our inner strength. Because however good your passion is, but if your mindful state is missed out, your emotional strength is missed out, it can decimate the whole process. Which is why we find a lot of people with great skill sets, great potential, but failures primarily because of the denominator, not because of the numerator. The numerator, it takes a few minutes, you can get it. Each person somehow can get the numerator, but the denominator can take a long time to get because getting to inner structure is pretty difficult. So the courses that I run on my portal, we try to explain the numerator and the denominator, which is very important. What disturbs them, what triggers them, and try to see ways and means in which we can tackle each of these issues, which can then catapult the numerator, the equation in a much higher manner.
This is so interesting because as you were saying, I just realized that like with all popular imagery, there is this book that came out and everybody was very impressed with, the topic over there and the way it was explained, that I think about 90% of the people would have read the book, people who read that book, but nobody has really gone into the depth of understanding. So like you said, if the numerator is important, and which is what people have been following, the denominator is equally important. And that is something that very few people have understood. Wow, this is actually scary if you ask me, because you have to look at both sides of the story, both sides of the coin to be really understanding what you're doing. Oh, wow. This was an eye-opener. Truly. So tell me more about, Speakology is something that is your trademarked product. If you could tell us what that is about and how is it that you have, ingrained or, intervened that with what you have been trying to teach all along?
So Speakology is the art of speaking and the art of communication, because communication is extremely important in today's world, both in personal or in public places. And it's a very structured course which I've put into my portal. It contains 3 particular modules. And the first module is primarily to focusing on basic tenets of speech, body language, voice, and various other aspects, harmony in speech, the way the speech should flow around like a river. The second is on impromptu speaking. Something like both of us are doing right now. How can we speak impromptu, on the fly, on the go, without really, and for that you need to be present. You need to be in the current moment. If my mind is somewhere else, I'll not be. And the third aspect is The third module is 10 micro practices which focus on various things. For example, if I'm reading from a book, if I'm reading from a book, how can I read from a book but still engage with the audience? Or if I'm doing a presentation, or if I'm sending an email. So small things which are left out in the first two modules, I cover it in the third module. And this entire package is it's kind of structured in such a manner that one goes through it, and it's an, as you mentioned, it's a trademark, and it's a diploma accredited by the government of India, where one flows through this entire process of coming through the structure of speech, introduction, body, conclusion, harmony, going on to impromptu practices, the way of speaking, and finally the 10 micro practices. He or she, in a matter of few months, because it's kind of structured in such a manner, it will take a few months properly to do it. With a lot of practice, you can actually start speaking much better to people, family, friends, and at various functions. You'll get some tricks. Even if you pick up 2 or 3 tricks, it's enough. It can go a long way.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting, and so needed, because I think communication is something. Now, also, again, during the pandemic, everybody's been used to talking on screen like this. We are interacting with people, and with this interaction on the screen, the other thing that is happening is that people are multitasking. They're toggling between, interacting with the person and probably sending out an email, or probably checking their WhatsApp and things like that. And I think that is one thing that people are missing out on, is that, like you said, even if the impromptu is happening, it is happening because we are both here and now in this space, and also because there is, I believe, a flow. There's a natural flow that has to happen, without which any conversation is incomplete. And that is something that people really need to understand. That is so amazing. Again, then what is Healify? These words are sounding so nice, and they sound so sweet when you say it. And when I read your profile, I was like, wow, these are nice things to talk about. So what is Healify?
Yeah, good. So this is the third one which I practice. So Ikigai, Speakology, and you caught the third one. Healify is the art of healing. So I am a past life regressionist and an inner child healer and a pranic healer. So I use various tools within regression and within inner child healing and counseling to ensure that some root causes of various anxieties, various depressions, chronic issues, patterns. A lot of times people go through some patterns in life, multiple things happening in a sequence. So these, if you introspect properly and you try to root it out, you heal it, which is why the word heal is there. You heal it using whatever technique you can, because I use a range of techniques, including NLP, just to see what we can do at that particular point of time. We can pull the person out of of a particular. When a person is going deep down in a depression or in any particular anxiety, words are not. Lullaby talk is not enough. Just doing lullaby talk. Hey, come on, more, you should be. That it doesn't go. It doesn't really cut ice. You really need to get into the person and pull it out, root it out, from deep within, such that then there is a more permanent and everlasting change. So I love this particular third practice because it connects so much with the world, and I love doing it with various people around. I see a lot of satisfaction in their faces after that, contentment, and that gives me contentment. Because that also connects. One of the key things of Ikigai is to heal and serve the world around you. The third leg of Ikigai is not just to have strength or to love what you're doing, but also to see how can you use it to heal and serve the world around you. And Healify is one aspect which I really use to help and heal, and try to see whatever little I can do to people around us in very tricky situations.
Absolutely. Okay, so now when there's one question which has suddenly popped in my mind, and forgive my lack of knowledge or understanding, but all of these healing practices that you talk about, and you are somebody who's learned the art, you have practiced it for so many years, you have the experience in this, but how are all of these tied to science? Is there a connection? And because now we have a lot of people who are talking about themselves as healers. They are healers, and you find healers, in any gathering you go to. But how is this tied to science, and how can you figure out an authenticity of a healer?
Great question. So there's a science called as epigenetics, and
Okay.
epigenetics deals in this particular effect that our thoughts and vibrations have on the environment, and this is scientifically proven. The way we are constructed and the way we think, the way we the way we the thought patterns run can affect the environment around us. And this is something which can be, luckily, this particular science is very famous in the US and Europe, and it can be proven. And there are a lot of statistics tools to actually measure the effect of epigenetics. The second one is the brain signals. So there are various brain signals, again, scientifically, which is there. It's called as the EEG, electroencephalogram. So when you measure the signals of a person who is highly agitated, so you will notice a graph, going up and down. You just see Google and EEG, you can find it out. And a person who is in a delta state, when I say delta state, one who is very calm, one practicing meditation or just after meditation, you will find your EEG, in a very relaxed and calm manner. So that's another scientific way one has done. The third is the scientific experiment on water molecules. And this is again, they've done almost 1,300 experiments on the effect of thoughts on water molecules. And it's all published, by somebody in Japan. And how love and prayer and confidence and courage, when you give those thoughts, how does a water molecule scientifically look, under a microscope? And when you put hate, anger, disgust, how does it look? How does water molecule? Now, human beings are constructed with 60% water. So we are so when there is a lot of love, prayer in us, so 60% of us will behave in that particular manner, which you'll see on the graph. And vice versa, when there is the negative, 60% of our body will, behave in that manner. Which is why these practices of heartfulness, mindfulness, they connect a lot with also the soma, psychosomatic, soma, which is the body. They connect a lot with holistic well-being. And I truly, pray and hope that all of us kind of practice something or the other, which can calm our being, because it will not just help us in our day-to-day activity. It will also help our soma, which will also help our stress, our organs, various, heart, mind, lungs, all these particular keywords, buzzwords, immunity, which people are talking about in the last few months.
Yes.
Lungs and immunity and build it up. All that can be done with simple practices if it's done in a structured manner.
Wow. That is something. I don't know what to say. So with all of that we've been talking about, and like you said, everybody should be practicing some amount of, to be able to calm yourself. So how important is this now and here, and the self-awareness in everything that we do? Because oftentimes when we do something, we do tend to say that, oh, I was not aware of it, or I did it without realizing what was happening. But I believe that somewhere there is that, an iota of that being in us, which knows that this is going to happen, or this is what I'm doing, or this is what I have done. So how important is that, to be that self-aware and to be in that here and now? And how easy or difficult is it? I don't know if I'm going around in circles.
Yeah, no. You're touching on the point of conscience and consciousness, which is extremely good, very, very powerful. And even Vivekananda has spoken a lot about these particular concepts you're talking about. And it's extremely important, both from a personal perspective as well as from a social perspective, to be self-aware, aware of ourselves, aware of our conscience, and aware of various intentions, that we have within us. And if we have a few minutes, I'd like to walk you through a small relaxation process, which will make the whole session quite practical. And so I'm going to invite all the viewers to pick up a silent place in your house. I know you're sitting at home, so pick up a silent place in the house. Just request your children to stay silent for the next 5 to 6 minutes. Okay. Tell your husband to keep away for some time. Okay. Not trouble you like he does always. And sit in a silent place. Okay, so gently close your eyes. I'm going to walk you through the process. Sit in a silent place. Gently close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. This is also called as belly breathing. When you breathe in, ensure it is deep and going to the belly. And when you breathe out, feel yourself becoming lighter and lighter. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe out and let go. With every breath you take, you'll feel your mind becoming calmer and calmer. Keeping your eyes closed, gently draw your attention towards your toes. Feel your toes relaxing. Feel an energy from the earth moving up from your feet, relaxing your ankles and feet. Feel your knees relaxing. Feel your thighs melting away and relax. Feel your hips and waist relaxing. Both your legs are feeling very calm and relaxed. Continue to breathe in very gently, softly, slowly. Feel the energy moving upwards. Feel your stomach light, empty, and relaxed. Feel your lower and upper back relaxing. Feel your chest filled with joy and relaxed. Feel your shoulders, arms, fingers melting away and relaxed. Your entire body below the neck is feeling very calm and relaxed. Continue to breathe in very deeply. Breathe in, breathe out, and let go. Feel the energy moving upwards. Feel your neck muscles relaxing. Your face, jaws, nose, eyes, ears completely relaxed. Feel the top of your head relaxing. All thoughts trailing away. Your mind is feeling very calm and relaxed. Your entire being, from the head to the toe, is feeling weightless, calm, and relaxed. With every breath you take, you're feeling more and more calmer, more and more relaxed. Gently draw your attention towards your heart. Feel the presence of a source of light in the heart, drawing you from within. Ignore any thoughts that are coming away. And gently continue to rest yourself on the source of light in the heart for the next few seconds until you hear my voice. Gently come back to the present moment. Take a time, take a few deep breaths, and whenever you're ready, you can gently palm your eyes and then open it. So, this is a very powerful technique called as a heartfulness relaxation technique. You can see it on heartfulness.org. It's a non-profit organization which helps promote this particular technique. And I'm a trainer. If any of you want to connect, feel free to connect. Heartfulness relaxation technique, and it just takes 4 or 5 minutes. I'd actually encourage all of you to, kind of practice this whenever possible.
Yes.
And if you notice, even now as we did it, Vandana and all of you who practiced, I don't really need to ask you. You'll feel, your brain waves, come very calm, very settled. Your voice has changed. People's voice will change. It moves from a reaction to response. Now, if you do any activity outside, let's say after this session, you'll step out and start cooking or whatever you want to do, you will feel, the reaction to response. You will start responding to situations and not reacting. You'll see a shift. And just take 3 or 4 minutes. It's such a powerful practice. That's why I always give this practice, because other practices take long, but the short one is
Yes, it is
punchline.
quite powerful. Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. This was an amazing experience and a brilliant experience for me too, because like I said, I have difficulty coming in the here and now. Thank you so much. And this is something that is so simple and can be done on a daily basis. So thank you so much, Deepak. Thank you for, bringing so much vibrancy, so much light and so much love to LAJA TV. I know the others, they are watching us, and I know it has made quite a difference to everybody. So on behalf of all of them and on behalf of Riddhi Doshi Patel, I thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, helping us relax and come into the here and now. I know there are so many more things we can talk about, and maybe we can have you back again or when we have a longer duration. But I would definitely like to explore the possibility of, having you, work with, conduct a session for us, maybe. This has been brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I thank you on behalf of everybody at LAJA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Riddhi. Thank you, LAJA TV, and love to all the women all over watching this. Do good and be brave and be courageous. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. And now, all of you, lastly, like always, let us talk about one LAJA Growth Platform member. But before that, let me just say, wasn't this an amazing experience? Wasn't this, wow, this was so interesting. And I don't know what to say. I think this is the first time that I'm slightly dumbfounded, but this was amazing. So yes, I think we have overshot our time. So before I take up any more time, let me talk about, because we're talking about spirituality, mindfulness, and because Deepak took us through such an amazing experience, this time let me talk about a LAJA Growth Platform member, Julie Tugger. She heads the healing segment of LAJA with another member, and she is a practicing numerologist, tarot card reader, crystal healer, therapist. She is here to support you on your journey to deeper self-awareness and greater confidence. And not only will you find the best numerological readings and most accurate tarot readings and crystal recommendations, and she is a very, very warm-hearted, very beautiful soul, and she can be found on LAJA. She is a LAJA member, and she can be contacted on her Facebook page, Julie's Numerology tarot. Julie, you can drop in a message in the chat right now so that people who want to can connect with you. But people, all of you who are listening to us and who have, experienced the session that Deepak ji, conducted for us, I think every day we can give 5 minutes. It didn't even take 5 minutes. We can invest some time in the mornings or in the nights, before we go to bed, for ourselves, because self-love is what is very, very important. So with that, I end tonight's episode of LAJA TV. I will see you again soon. Till then, take care, stay safe, and love to all of you. Bye-bye. Good night.